All right, at the same time, we've got a little Elon Musk back and forth. This is an interesting one. All right, put this up on the screen from Mediaite. Elon Musk is defending restricting Ukraine military internet service, saying, quote, "We will not enable escalation of conflict that may lead to World War III." This came in response, put this next piece up on the screen, to astronaut Scott Kelly, who actually is Mark Kelly's brother. He said to Elon, "Ukraine desperately needs your continued support. Please restore the full functionality of your Starlink satellites. Defense from a genocidal invasion is not an offensive capability. It's survival. Innocent lives will be lost. You can help. Thank you." To which Elon replies, what you see on the screen here, "You're smart enough not to swallow media and other propaganda BS. Starlink is the communication backbone of Ukraine, especially at the front lines where almost all other internet connectivity has been destroyed, but we will not enable escalation of conflict that may lead to World War III. He went on in response to another person here. He says, listen, SpaceX commercial terminals, like other commercial products, are meant for private use. Put this next one up on the screen, guys. Not military, but we have not exercised our right to turn them off. We're trying hard to do the right thing, where the right thing is an extremely difficult moral question. Now, you guys know I haven't been the biggest
Right.
Elon fan. On this, I will 100% defend him. And by the way, you know, it's not clear 100% what they have done to limit Starlink service. They did announce they are going to limit it. There's some Wall Street Journal reporting that says basically Ukrainian soldiers say it's working largely as usual for frontline communications, but some units had reported issues with terminals attached to strike drones. So again, not 100% clear the ways that they have restricted it, but I think he's trying to strike what to me seems like a relatively reasonable balance, trying to avoid escalation leading to World War III. And also, Sagar, is very much in line with the original rationale and explanation from the U.S. government of what they would be doing vis-a-vis Ukraine.
Yeah, I don't, and you know, his point is not wrong. Like, he's like, look, this is supposed to be a commercial device. It's not even supposed to be used for military purposes. You know why you don't want to use for military purposes? Because now you're opening yourselves up to the world of sanctions, and you're opening up yourself. You're in a different realm than you ever intended to be. And you know, at the right now, I mean, he already talked about how they were providing Ukraine like hundreds of millions of dollars in free service with high-speed internet connectivity. And he's like, I guess we'll just keep doing it. But the core beef was Starlink was like, hey, Pentagon, you pay for it. You know, you're the one. And they were like, no, we're not going to do it. This is outrageous, because they initially provided free service to Ukraine. Zelensky then jumping on being like, Elon doesn't support Ukraine, like, you know, and basically browbeating him in the press to make him bow before this. But I think it's a totally legitimate point. Like, if the U.S. government wants to provide high-speed internet connectivity to Ukrainian forces, then they are welcome to do that. But why should a private company be required to do so? And then secondary, if the private company is going to do so basically out of the goodness of their heart, is costing them a lot of money, well, then their parameters of that CEO, of their owner, and how he views the conflict is, of course, going to play a role here. This is part of what drives me crazy about the Ukrainians. You don't have a right to anything that we give you. You should be grateful about what it is. And they're not. Like, their defenders are constantly, you know, I pointed to that previous, Zelensky demands fighter jets. All right, you build them, okay? Yeah, go for it. You don't have an industrial base. That's why you can't do it. So you should at least come say, please, can you give us, you know, if you're gonna ask us to escalate, at least be nice about it. That's one of those things where it drives me nuts in the media, and the way Elon was treated on this. You should be thanking God for him for creating this technology that enables you and your military to put up even a modest defense against the Russians. You should not be demanding it. And not only that, you're not even paying for it. You're getting it for free.
I mean, listen, I think that, I think people aren't necessarily saying Elon has to, is like required to, but they're saying it'd be the right thing to do. And he's basically arguing like, it's a little complicated because, you know, it's one thing. All the reporting says that Starlink has truly been critical for Ukraine in terms of their communications on the front line. And Starlink is still providing that, which is incredibly important, which is why I think the like antagonistic approach that Zelensky and others in Ukraine have taken has been, you know, they can say whatever they want, but I think it's kind of foolish. But again, what Elon is laying out here about concerns of World War III escalation and wanting to provide, you know, a communications ability on the front lines for the purpose of defense, but not wanting to be really involved in enabling any sort of offensive capabilities in particular that could, strike Crimea, strike into Russia itself. I think, again, that's a reasonable moral stand to take as he's trying to sort through, what their role here should ultimately be. So yeah, I think the Ukrainian approach here has been a bit foolish. Ultimately, this has been incredibly critical for their efforts. And instead of getting any sort of appreciation or acknowledgement of how critical they have been, he's basically getting shit on for getting involved at all. So
yeah, but that's the thing. They're not foolish. They can get away with it. They never get called on anything. Zelensky literally lies about a Russian missile flying in Poland, calling for a no-fly zone. Everybody here is like, no, it's all good. You know what was crazy when that whole thing happened? Whenever it turned out that it was a Ukrainian anti-air missile, they were like, oh, it's Russia's fault, actually, that our citizens were killed. What? They didn't even apologize for what happened. I mean, the level of which we accommodate them is crazy. You can say, yeah, look, what's going on there? It's unjust that you were invaded. I hope that you win. I support your right to defend yourself. But that doesn't mean that you're always in the right. And the level of hysteria and just the inability to grapple with any critical thought on this, it is, as people can tell, drives me absolutely, especially when they're ungrateful to people like Elon for literally giving them tens of millions of dollars in free service, of which they say is required on the battlefield. And they're so arrogant that they're willing to criticize him in public. And, here's the thing, for all of his, I'll stand up, you still gave it to him, Elon. You didn't actually back down. So I don't know, It just shows you how powerful they really are in the zeitgeist.
Well, one thing that is not controversial would be bringing Starlink capability to my home in rural Virginia.
That's right.
So something we can all get behind.
I checked the map for you. It's coming in 2023. We'll see what that
allegedly.
Okay.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Sagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us. And if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.